Palestinian protests continue at George Washington University this morning, and the university president not happy about it. She released a letter yesterday calling for it to help it end. Jess Arnold joins us now live from the university yard with more on this story. And Jess, what are we seeing now that the sun is starting to rise?
Yeah, seeing more students start to gather here. I'm trying to start talking to them. They have very specific media liaisons who they want to point us to speak with. So no one's exactly chatting yet, but we are starting to see more folks arrive as the sun starts to come up. And of course, you can see that there are still tents both on H Street and on University Yard behind me. A little bit further back, you see the George Washington statue that has been covered with messages as well as, different flags, etc. But I do want to point out that University President Ellen Granberg, in that letter that she shared, says that this is no longer a peaceful protest and she's continuing to call on DC's help to end it. I want to read you a little bit of an excerpt from what she wrote here. She said, quote, "I want to make clear that I believe the issues at the heart of this protest are important and deserve our full attention and consideration. There is a dire humanitarian crisis occurring in Gaza that must be addressed, and I am personally grief-stricken by the suffering and loss of innocent lives occurring on both sides of this conflict." Granberg also writes that she supports freedom of speech as long as demonstrations occur within the limits of the university's policies and the district's laws, but she says that that has not been the case here. She says the demonstrations have grown into a quote-unquote illegal and potentially dangerous occupation of GW property, and that not everyone involved is affiliated with the university. She says protesters have overrun barriers, vandalized the university statue and flag, surrounded and intimidated GW students with anti-Semitic images and hateful rhetoric, which we have heard is the case from a pro-Israel student group, chased people out of the yard, and ignored and pushed GW police officers and university maintenance staff. Now, Granberg also continues to write that this encampment was never lawful and that GW has tried multiple tactics to safely resolve the situation, including offering an alternative demonstration site, putting up barriers, initiating academic and administrative consequences for GW student participants, dialoguing with these students, and requesting help from DC police. But so far, these efforts haven't led anywhere. Now, to date, Mayor Muriel Bowser and DC police have refused to intervene and clear out the protesters, which again, the university president, as well as some House Republicans, have condemned. So on Wednesday, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability in Congress has actually called Mayor Bowser as well as DC Police Chief Pamela Smith to testify on their response to these protests that's happening Wednesday at 1 p.m. Now, there is a group called DMV SJP. They have posted on Instagram saying that there will be a student press conference here at 2 p.m. to kind of talk about where they are at now that we're closely approaching that 2-week mark of these protests and encampment. I'm still working to confirm that with students who are here on campus this morning. So when we have that update, we will of course confirm with you here as well as on social media. Now, when it comes to graduation, because that's also right around the corner, as of now, that is still scheduled to commence as they have been planning all year. But of course, we'll continue to keep you updated, guys.
All right, Jess Arnold reporting. Thank you, Jess. 6:05 is the time right now. As we've been telling you for weeks now, these protests are continuing on college and university campuses all across the country. And now graduation season is getting into full swing. Demonstrators temporarily disrupted the University of Michigan's commencement on Saturday, and police cleared out encampments at the University of Virginia and the University of Southern California. USC is replacing its main graduation ceremony with an event at the LA Coliseum later this week.